diving into our differences between book and tax income, well, these are going to be two different methods of calculating companies' income, and understanding the differences here is going to be crucial for understanding corporate taxes. As mentioned, and I'll mention many times over, if you take the financial exam, guess what? You're going to be dealing with book income, and for this test, I'll give you one shot at guessing which we're going to be using here. Well, that is tax income. That is a great recommendation as to why you should probably take a test like audit in between the two of them. You want to give your brain a chance to reset and forget how the other method worked. So this is, I personally took the tax exam first and then financials later, but I know for everyone it's different. Now, book income, this is what's reported to investors, creditors. It's also known as financial or GAAP income. This is the income reported on a company's financial statements. Now, a lot of times, can you create financial statements from tax income, from a tax return, or can you figure out what a taxable income is from book income? Yeah, totally. And that's what we're going to see here. The differences between these two incomes, the items that you have to reconcile. And I've worked in tax, I've worked in audit. Sometimes you get a tax return and you have to create financial statements from it. Sometimes you get financial statements, you have to determine what the taxable income is. So totally possible. Hey, I know you're a very curious person, whoever you are listening here. Now, this book income is calculated following accounting rules and regulations to provide a standardized and consistent measure of a company's financial performance. Now, book and tax income are both regulated, generated, determined by some authority body, right? We've got the FASB, we've got the IRS, we've got these regulatory agencies determining rules. However, book income generally, and I'll use this term lightly, this phrase lightly, generally makes more sense, it's more logical, kind of more natural, organic, I'll say. Whereas tax income, throughout the course, I like to say it's kind of arbitrary. It's these rules that are created to get us to act a certain way. That's why we have certain credits, certain deductions, certain things, certain ways things are structured. So taxable income is a lot less natural because it's interfered by the IRS, the IRC. And that's not a good thing, a bad thing. It's just the way it is, right? So generally speaking, how well is a company doing? Well, that's just your book income. If you lose $1 million for penalties and fines, you're going to be able to deduct that for book income because that's just what happened, right? You lost $1 million. That's an expense. That's money you don't have. For taxable income, however, you're not going to take that into account because, well, you can't deduct that. So book income generally is a better idea of health and profitability for a company. However, taxable income, this is what's on the tax return. This is going to be used more so to determine what is the basis for calculating corporate taxes. We're going to go through the differences. Now, not only is it important to just understand the differences of these, well, it's also a requirement that you have to report book income, the differences, reconciling items on schedules M1, M3. We'll talk about those later on. Now, comparing these two together, it's also, depending on who knows how much they change the exam, but this does come up sparsely on the financial exam. We got different instances of it. It also is just incredibly helpful to know for career work. I always like to point out other reasons to learn this stuff, not just for the exam. Makes it a little more enjoyable because you get to say, oh, I'm killing two birds with one stone. This helps in understanding differences in financial reporting and tax calculations for planning, compliance, true tax burden, all that good stuff. We're really going to focus on temporary and permanent differences. We'll dive into what those are. Tax strategies, all that good stuff. Let's focus on what we need to know for the exam and have a good time while doing it. Hey there. Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material. We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.